Let me take you back to how this opportunity even came to be in the first place. You know, I've seen the videos of gay cruises. They look absolutely wild, like an adventure, packed, and a bit overwhelming for me. Because for me in particular, I'm much more of a homebody. I thrive in one-on-one situations, but I can be extremely introverted in large group settings, and they can make me really nervous. I've always wanted to take the show on a cruise to see what kind of people I'd meet, but my idea of that cruise was to be around people in my community, of course, but in a much more relaxed environment. When I stumbled across a big gay cruise, it seemed like the perfect blend of fun and excitement, but also peaceful and grounding and rejuvenating. I reached out to them on a whim, seeing if they would be open to a collaboration, and before I knew it, I was on a red eye and flying to Miami to board the cruise.
All right, here I go.
Available for plane at baggage claim 22. Due to the similarity of many bags, please verify the number on your plane receipt with the baggage tag. We hope your flight was a pleasant.
It was a rainy day when I landed, but I had heard that in Florida it rains one minute and the sun comes out the next, so I really wasn't too worried about the weather affecting the trip.
So excited. Balcony too is gonna be so nice. I love it.
The Big Gay Cruise is an independent company that works with the Royal Caribbean to bring cruising to people in our community at affordable prices. For instance, this cruise in particular, which has over 750 guests that are part of the Big Gay Cruise segment, starts at just $1,054 for a room for two. On this cruise, there will be drag shows with Rue Girls Hiding in Closet and Elliot with Two T's, comedy shows, nightly dance parties, and so much more. After checking in with the Big Gay Cruise and getting my little necklace that would get me into all the gay events, I found myself where I truly belonged, the cafeteria.
People on the dance floor, my boss is rich. Let's make it happen. DJ, drop the beat.
As we took off, it really started to dawn on me. I am on this cruise by myself. I know absolutely no one. No one was helping me secure interviews or introducing me to people. It was all on me to secure those interviews and to make sure that I delivered what I promised. But I came with a mission, and that was to do something that I've never done before, to place myself in maybe uncomfortable situations, but to grow as a person. And I knew this was going to do exactly that. The first event was a Q&A with the stars of the cruise, which were the two RuPaul's girls Hiding in Closet and Elliot with Two T's, and also a lot of adult film stars.
I'm Colby Chambers. I own Colby. What was that?
Oh, I thought he was going first, but we came to you.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, no.
I just thought we were going down this way.
Sorry.
Such a mess. You started, go ahead. We're such a mess. I'm Colby Chambers. I'm Colby Knox. I've been in the industry for about 12 years.
After hearing more of Colby Chambers' story in the Q&A, I was excited and honored to sit down with him as well as his husband, Mickey Knox, to hear about how they turned what was once a flourishing webcam career into Colby Knox, their own platform that has turned into a huge success.
I didn't realize you had a suite. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
we got a little room.
Do you mind if I turn the camera on you? I'm filming right now. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure.
Absolutely. We did a junior last year, and the owners this year was the same price as the junior last year.
So nice.
So, yeah. So happy with it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so spacious. I felt like I was lucky, and this is amazing. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for introducing yourself and offering the interview.
I'm like kind of introverted in real life, so I'm always like kind of nervous to go up to people and be like, hey, I'm Matt, I have a YouTube channel, I want to interview, but you guys are so receptive, so I really appreciate that.
I so feel that, and a lot of our industry is actually very introverted, much to a lot of people's surprise. We have really had to adapt to coming out of our shells in these situations because, yeah, we're also a bit introverted.
Where did you grow up?
I was born in Michigan, but my entire life I've been in North Carolina. It's a farming community, so of course I worked on farms pretty much from age 14 until I went off to college.
What a change of scenery to do that and then into adult content.
Yeah, did not see it coming. I can honestly say that. Like, was not on my, like, I plan to do this.
Do you guys feel like there's still a negative stigma towards gay?
It's funny how we just are very much in our own little bubble, and social media kind of encourages it because the people you communicate with are the people that it shows you comments from. So I've like wandered to the bad side of Twitter before, or like maybe a model will make like a very mainstream comment which will attract some like mainstream commenters, and I see some of it. I think I've just adapted to seeing the silver lining, so I'm just like, haha, whatever, they don't exist.
Because I do a lot on sex work, and I see so many comments, and this is why I do a lot on sex work, is because I'm trying to like show people that not everybody that is like on drugs and stuff, you know. But I feel like that's the conception, is, or that's what people think, is that everybody does, you know, comes from a rough upbringing or addicted to drugs and stuff. And what are your feelings about that?
Honestly, I was really shocked once we started our own studio and we just were bringing models out, and now we've worked with enough models to like have a pretty good gauge of like what the average model is. Okay, so like the average model is not on drugs, they're actually pretty introverted, and their sex lives are, you have the ones that are like really into it and good for them, but then you also have at least half of the boys that will be like, I haven't had sex since the last time I was here. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. The stigma of party, I feel like comes from the past.
The old days,
because how it is now is, it's pretty normal for someone to get into this line of work. I mean, it's just normal people.
I think that a lot fewer people used to bottleneck sort of the trends and the vibe of the industry. You know, it used to be a handful of producers, like seriously 15 or 20 guys that are directing the entire industry. Now it's so diverse. I mean, like even before OnlyFans, but when OnlyFans came out, I mean, like doing porn went mainstream. So that many people doing things their own way, we all learn from each other. We all kind of like, we know the ones to stay away from. And I feel like that added influence has just brought everything up so much. Instead of it being a handful of guys controlling everything, where it's like if 5 of them are doing some f***ed up shit, then that's 25% of the industry. Whereas now there's, you know, like, I don't know, 100,000 producers out there, and a lot of them come into it trying to get out of the rat race. They don't want to do like us. We didn't want to do the restaurant business anymore, so we treated it like a career. We took it very seriously from the beginning because it was our way out. So it's like, it's not like, oh cool, I'm making all this money, let me just blow it all and do drugs and party every night. It's like, we know that we have an expiration date, you know, so it's like you almost have to be more thrifty, more intelligent with the way you live your lifestyle and your money, because not everybody has that expiration date on what they do the way that performers do.
You were the first one to come out of U2, right? How old were you when you came out of the closet?
I want to say 20, 21. I didn't come out until I moved to North Carolina. So I did a full like start over. I kind of made a deal with myself, but like when I get here, I'm immediately going honest. So the first time that someone asked me like about my preferences or whatever, if I want to go out with them, whatever, I'm going to be completely for it.
Did you wait because of your family or something? Did you wait to move to come out?
Like, I don't know. My family wound up being very accepting, and I kind of knew that they were, but they just weren't very good at the communication part. They didn't really know how to approach a gay son and make him feel comfortable, and I think they tried to sort of let me manage it on my own because they were thinking like, we don't want to like rip the boy out of the closet. I had known for a long time, but like denial is a powerful thing. Like, even though I feel like I knew by like the second grade. It wasn't a sexual thing. It was like I just knew that I had this attraction to men, and like I wanted to be around them, and I wanted to I liked being around them more than I did girls, and I didn't know why.
How did you find yourself in Red Lobster?
There's a lot of hot guys there. Like, I mean, that was the thing. That was like the job sucked, the income sucked, but like the staff was amazing. It was just like busted the gills with these hot college boys, and like all the girls were great, and we were all just kind of this big family that suffered together.
My roommate worked at Red Lobster. I needed a job, so I like asked my roommate, like, yo, get me a job. And as soon as I got in there, of course, I met Colby, and I was just infatuated with him, and he was out and like loud and proud and really confident, but I was like super shy and in the closet, and nobody knew my secret.
When Mickey came in, it was really funny because he was with like a little group of new servers, and I turned to a girl that I work with, and I was like, God damn, the new batch are fucking hot. And she was like, I see 2 girls, one that's definitely not your type, and my friend Mickey. You really think Mickey's that hot? And I was like, yeah, all right, I guess it's just him. He made the whole crowd look hot. And that was like my first time like seeing him and commenting on him. And it's like I kind of like, you know, everyone's in training and you don't really talk to them until they like hit the floor. So I'm just like kind of, how's Mickey doing? Yeah. You know, like, is he training today? And I remember thinking I was bat crazy at one point because I was just like thinking about a future with us, and I was just like, I'm not even like, I don't even want a boyfriend. Like, what the fuck am I doing? But it was almost like some part of me just knew.
He made it very clear that he was into me, and that if I wanted to, it was available. So I stewed on that for a couple years until he put in his 2 weeks notice and was leaving.
It kind of came to pass that he was going to move to this like beach area because there was this like college program that he could continue his education but be a lot closer to me. And so like he moved from Puerto Rico, so I was like, well, I'd be an asshole if I didn't move 2 hours. So I moved the couple of hours to where he was going to school, and as I was like building up to do that, I'm talking to Mickey, and I'm like, yeah, you know, like I'm moving away forever.
I just kind of had that like mental break where I was like, it's now or never. Like I have to tell him how I feel, or else like he's gonna be gone forever. And that was like me coming out, was telling him.
Wait, so take me back to that moment. So how did it go down?
I was way too nervous to like verbally say it, and we had been talking about X and, you know, parties and stuff like that, and I had my notepad that I take orders in, and I wrote down a website, and I slid it to him, and I was like, when you go home, look this up. And when he came back to work the next day, he had just seen like Aussie twink, and he was like, okay, so that's what he's watching on the internet, so obviously.
Okay, so wait, let me get this straight. So your way of telling him like, hey, I'm into men is go to this website, and it's a gay website.
Like, he didn't know what it was when I first wrote it down. I was just like, check this out. It was like my favorite video, and I wanted to share it with him so he could know what I was into.
That's so cute and like oddly very intimate. You know, to tell somebody like what kind of porn you watch is a very like intimate thing, you know? And that's so cute that you did that. I've never heard that story in my life.
I was like super nervous and scared,
and that was definitely what like threw gas on the fire. That was what made it all like actually, you know, kind of rise to the surface, which led to our first sexual contact.
In my mind, it was like, I have to get past this hurdle so that I know for sure I'm straight. And like
the opposite.
When I went into it, I still thought I would come out the other end like being like, oh, this wasn't really for me. But as soon as I got with him for the first time, I literally like immediately knew that my life was a lie and it was never gonna be the same. You know, like I loved him so much that like I immediately was like, I'm gay.
But then I did move away for like 2 years. And we didn't really talk or keep in touch for about 2 years.
And during those 2 years, is that how you found yourself starting to make videos and stuff? Because you were the first out of the two of you, right?
Yes, yeah. So I moved to a beach town, and I was doing restaurant work. And so at Red Lobster, I actually got to where I was a bartender, which I loved. Bartending is very different from being a server. When I moved to the beach town, I had to switch to an Olive Garden. It was all in the same company family, but they wouldn't let me bartend. And so the money was just like, I took like a 50% hit to the money I was making. And I had always been attracted to the idea of doing, always like kind of hit me in a certain place when I was young. So I'd always been very attracted to the idea of it. I had applied for a site or two over the years, but nothing really came to fruition. And webcamming kind of wound up being my like foot in the door.
What attracted you to like in the first place?
So I was born in '86. Anyone from before or that era, or even shortly after, know that like TV shows and TV movies or movies were very different with how gay characters were portrayed. We were rare, and if we were there, we were a certain like type of gay. Usually, you didn't see any male intimacy in those movies. We were kind of like almost clowns, you know.
Like the butt of the joke.
Yeah, exactly. Like they had like kind of fashioned us into this like clown figure, and the first place that it was like I saw real passion, I saw real like male intimacy, and then to boot, it was like I was in the closet in the Midwest in Kansas, terrified to come out, very insecure about who I was, and I'm watching, and my trifecta was Pierre Fitch, Brent Everett, and Brent Corrigan, and I'm watching these three guys, and they're doing what I'm like secretly dreaming about doing, and they're like getting love for it, like they're getting admiration and respect, and like, and yet they're being like completely out, like the paradigm of like an out homosexual male. Like not only are they out, but they are like proving it on video on the internet. So it's like that was very powerful to me too. It was almost divine status from where I was sitting. It was like not only can they do what I can't, but they like have elevated their lives with it.
You guys have really leveraged what was camming for you two into a full business that has afforded you a beautiful home and a company. And can we talk about a little bit about like that trajectory for you guys? So you started doing online content together, right? Camming?
Yeah.
And were you making good money at that point?
We were. It was kind of a situation where the more we made, the more terrified I was of like fumbling it somehow and us winding up back in the rat race. So that expiration date I was talking about, it's like the better we did, the more I was just like I don't know. I could see it ending, you know. And I got to a point where I was like, I'm not going back. I'm just not going back.
Wow. So then, were you the one who thought of the idea of creating Colby Knox?
Yeah, it was always kind of like my dream that kind of became his, and he kind of like he just never really considered anything like that before. You know, he was so newly out when we started. But he is acclimated, and yeah, I'd say we both are kind of equally enthusiastic about it now.
What were the first steps into creating that website and that company?
The first step was him just taking a sketch pad and drawing and just going to town and being like, how does this look? Like the header will be here, the video boxes will be here, we can have scene descriptions and titles, and he just had a dream that he just started writing down, and the more he talked to me about it, the more I was like you should try this, you know. And then it kind of dawned on me like we're together, like I'm gonna do this too, you know. And at that point just wasn't something I had ever considered, but the webcamming really like opened my eyes to possibilities, and he had that drive, you know. So he was like just showing me stuff that he wanted, and I just wanted to be supportive and, you know, watch it come to life.
How soon into creating Colby Knox did you realize like, okay, this is something, and this is going to be something that could like build our future together?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a worrier. I think it's why we do okay.
Yeah.
Because I try to think of every possible leak or tear or something that could go wrong. So those are a little rocky in the beginning, I gotta be honest. It takes time, you know, like you can't just expect a webcam following to transition to a studio following overnight. It was me sort of just like keeping the faith for a while there, and like we were using our webcam income to balance the books and to pay for content, to pay for things we needed for the website. So it was nerve-wracking in the beginning, and like it was kind of just me being like, it's gonna work, like we're doing it. It doesn't, like, there is no what if, there is no maybe, there is no, you know, try. Like, we're gonna fucking do it. Like, that's it, and we're gonna keep trying until we figure it out. So there's no reason to worry. But I'd say by year 3, year 4, we were getting pretty happy with our choices.
So it's literally us working really hard to make money so that we could buy flights and testing and hotels and film videos that will one day go on our hypothetical website that's being built, that we're also paying for. But it's, at this point, it's still a dream. You're creating art, but you don't have an art gallery.
Oh, because you had to like film a bunch of videos to have videos on the site from when you launched
launch
it.
a site with nothing on it.
Oh my gosh!
And we literally started from nothing. So what was it? 25? 12.
We started with 12 videos.
12 videos.
Site, yeah.
But it was hard to get 12 videos when you send out a thing that says, do you want to work for a studio that doesn't exist yet, but it is coming.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a hard
That
sell.
was a hard one. You
Did
know?
a lot of that on Grindr, was where a lot of our first models came from.
I was gonna say, because you guys already had kind of built your name, so were people willing to work with you guys just based off of your name alone?
Sometimes. It's funny how webcamming doesn't really make you famous. So like you'll build your following, your fan base and stuff like that. When you come to events, you know, you may get recognized and stuff, but being recognized in public and all that didn't come till much later. So we'd kind of show them and like tell them, and like we'd try to pitch a lot of guys on it. Like, webcamming is where it's at, guys. Like, we're gonna pay you one time for this video today, but you could make this like every single night, like yourself, doing whatever you want to do. But you know, it's not for everybody. Like, not everybody takes to webcamming the way we did, but we have always like really like pushed webcamming with even like the established stars that come in now. We're still like, it's just fuel for the fire. Like, you make money doing the show, you get to like talk to your fans and actually connect with them on a more personal level, and then it feeds all your platforms.
Do you two still do webcamming as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that cross promotes your own web page too.
Yeah. And like sometimes I just can't let it go. Like, some nights I'll just be like, babe, I'm just gonna log online for an hour and talk to people, and like I won't even get naked. Like, they're my friends, and I want to talk to them because I've known them for over 10 years now, and I'll just log online just to talk.
But then that's something to think about, because it can create an unhealthy boundary, you know?
So the way that we've always dealt with that, because you're right, it is an issue, and it's not that it hasn't ever come up with us, but first of all, we're a couple. We are very busy. That helps. Everybody knows that. What we do is, it's kind of like we offer what we offer. We're there, we're going to talk to you. If you get a favorite or a tweet back from us that day, then, you know, like, we had time that day. Or if you get a DM back, then we had time that day. Really, it's like the people that we wind up forging these, like, I mean, we have people that we've been friends with for 8-10 years. And the ones that we forge those long relationships with are the ones that understand the boundaries, understand why we have the boundaries, and they're consistent. Like, they just show up every night, and it's like fucking Cheers. It's like everybody knows your name. Like, they come in and they don't just say hi to us, they say hi to our moderators, they say hi to the other people in the room that they know.
Have you had any situations with fans where you had to be like, okay, like, this is too much and this is unhealthy, and you guys think that this is a relationship that is actually not happening?
So it happened one time for me. It happens more with him.
I had one guy that I just built a relationship with him. I knew him. I let him get too close, and it got to the point where like, he was pretty much like, when you're ready, I'm gonna take care of you. And I was like, I am about to get married. Like, what are you talking about? And pretty much like when we were in our like planning our wedding phase, that was the last time I ever spoke to him, because I think him hearing me actually say like I am madly in love and I'm getting married, he just finally accepted that, okay, like I gotta let this one go.
He is so sweet to everybody, and he doesn't realize that he puts ideas in people's head. And I'll have to like tell him like, hey, I know that you're just trying to be nice, but like, let me explain what that's gonna do in their mind.
Especially because what you guys film is like at your home. In webcam, it can feel very personal and intimate, and like they're at home with you guys. So somebody that maybe, I don't know, that doesn't see reality can think like, oh, I'm part of this picture. They know my name. I see them every night, you know, in intimate places, and then they think that there's a relationship, but there's not actually a relationship with you guys. That can become dangerous.
What's great is that we sort of have this momentum with it now, where first of all, we've been together for 12 years. So it's funny, in the first 5 years we were together on webcam, there'd be people that come in and like ask our horoscope signs and be like, oh, whatever, you guys will stay together for a few years, but it ain't gonna work. You know, shit like that. And like, no one says that anymore, because if I'm not mistaken, we are the longest running gay performer relationship.
Have you had any situations where you felt in danger from a fan?
I personally never have, no.
That's so interesting, because when I talk to female sex workers, I feel it's a different story a lot of the times.
Well, it's funny that you brought that up, because something a lot of people don't know, and we're actually, like, we say it out loud all the time, but our fan base is predominantly female. And I think the reason why, and like, you know, I can never quite understand, but we're in love and we're married, and a lot of times in our video we're making love as a married couple, and women are drawn to the more romantic stuff, and for some reason female fans just tend to not scare you sometimes, you know, like a male fan might. It's worked out in our favor in that sense, because I understand like how female performers, they can have like people pursuing them,
stalkers,
like pursuing them.
Yeah.
We have more of a friendship dynamic. Like there's no reason to pursue us. We're happily married. We will be your friend.
What is your favorite thing about Mickey?
He is so much nicer and sympathetic than I could ever be. Like, I don't know how he does it. He just always manages to see the good side in people, in the situation. And I mean, sometimes I have to level him out and he levels me out, where like, I'm like, okay, no, you're being taken advantage of and you're being mistreated in this situation. So like, you need to stand up for yourself. Or like, he'll be like, honey, like they're going to put you on a no-fly list. Stop shouting in the airport. They'll figure out the ticketing. Like, so we balance each other out very well, but like I am sort of in awe of his ability to do that.
And we're really proud to say that we did not meet on the internet, because it's kind of rare to like actually bump into someone now and hit it off and just have that like natural evolution of like feelings, just being like, I really like this person. Like most people get it from, you know, an app, and you share back and forth, and then you have a little bit more to work with because you know them. But with our situation, it was just such a natural, gradual, like, you know, when I first started working, I had no idea who he was, and then a couple years later, we were like best friends.
Do you think he is your soulmate?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
We have a couple more weeks of my time on the big gay cruise, and with every day that passed, I grew more and more comfortable, and I can't wait for you to see not only what other interviews I got the honor to do, but also more of my time on the cruise. It is an experience that I will never forget. I hope you're subscribed to my channel, and I will see you next week.